Well, I'm sitting here on Sunday, getting ready to go get Ollie wanted skis. Don't know if that's a good idea. Ollie wanted skis. We're going to get Ollie some skis, and I'm getting ready to pack for Australia tomorrow. A long day at the barn yesterday. I didn't get done till 2:30. Then we had some pictures taken with the baby, and then I had to go right to Flamborough to race. Didn't get home till 10 o'clock at night. Long Saturday, as they're going to be this time of year, but not as long as Monday's going to be. About 20 hours. Now it's broke up. We fly to Los Angeles, and then from Los Angeles to 5-hour layover, and then straight on to Australia. It's I didn't know how it would be. I always fly. I travel good. I drive a lot, as you guys know, in the summer. Fly a lot, but flying 20 hours and flying a lot are two different things. And, I took it pretty good. I slept for most of the flight, I think 6 hours, or anyway, at least of the New Zealand flight. So it was good. It was good. And I'm suspecting tomorrow will be fine. Also, it's really hot in Australia right now. I know everybody's saying, oh, shut up. It's cold here. Yeah, 41 degrees. That gets old really quick. So I couldn't bring many dress clothes because you sweat right through them like a pig. So I had to get some golf shirts and short sleeve dress shirts and whatnot. And, it's nice not to be freezing, but at the same time, if you're cold, you can put a coat on. If you're hot, you're just hot. And that will be the biggest transition, I think, the heat, not the flight. So 7 speaking engagements in 14 days. I'm going to take in some of the sites. They've been speaking all over Australia, and it's good. I had a lot of messages from clients saying, geez, truth be told, I wish you weren't going to Australia. We're training the horses down here. Yeah, I'm training the horses down here, but right now they're mostly just putting work in, trying to put some work into them. Now would be the only time between now and June I could actually go. Starting I would say from April 15th straight away through to October, it'll be top gear. We want to make sure we keep an eye on the horses, train them down, put the work into them, get them ready when they're supposed to be ready, and then, and only then, you think you're done, and then there's the yearling sales for 2019. So right now is the only time to go, and, truthfully, again, circling back to those clients, yes, it's important that we have, that I be here, and that we have good trainers for that too, right? That's why we hired professional people like Mario Bergeron. Danny's been with me forever. Ricky's there. Jason comes up and helps. James, not many of you know this, but James is on with us now, working with the babies. He can't be there on Fridays, but every other day he's there. So we have a very powerful supporting cast, if you will. And furthermore, as the manager of TheStable.ca, yes, I need to be here. As the trainer of the babies, yes, I need to be here. But as somebody who built TheStable.ca, I absolutely have to be in Australia. So it's not about one trumping the other. It's about both working together to build what we've built here. And it didn't get built by me not being where I need to be, whether that be in the barn or whether that be abroad speaking, whether it be in the States around here or in Australia or New Zealand. These all have to run hand in hand for the stable to run. So I'll be leaving tomorrow. I'll be back on March 5th. Great news. Stakes got paid, so that's good. February 15th stakes were paid. I appreciate, I say it again and again. You guys, you might take it for granted. Maybe I'm just lying, or I really appreciate when I tell people, we really have to get these payments in. I'm really concerned. Now, obviously, we sold a couple of horses. We'll get to the sale in Ohio in a minute. We sold a couple of horses, so that helped shore up the gap, as some checks didn't arrive here yet. I know they're probably going to be in the mailbox Monday, which would have been fine, actually. But I really appreciate everybody sending their money in. You guys know what it's all about. I mean, $93,000, and then we made some staking adjustments, and with the exchange rate, I was off a bit. It was closer to 100, give or take, that we spent on February staking. So I get a shiver when I think of what March and April, those are the two big months. Imagine the two big months are March and April, and we just spent 100 grand. So, but you can't race in these stake races if you don't stake them into it. And it's not exactly the only reason we're here, but it's one of the reasons. We do want to race in these stake races. We do want to have some excitement. We do want to win them if we can. You can't win them if you're not in them. So we are all staked up for February, looking forward to March. As I said, we did make a couple of private sales. Before the sale last week, 2 weeks ago, we sold Ready for the Beach. He went to Alberta. We sold Autumn Wings. Unfortunately, Autumn Wings just, you know, here's the thing, is that we're always going to change the way that we operate. It has to be fluid. We have to learn from our mistakes. We have to understand that we make mistakes. We're only human here at the stable, obviously. And a couple of horses we turned out. Now, this doesn't apply to Autumn Wings. She did need to be turned out. She trained down, as you can remember, last year. One of our best fillies. Looked awesome, but always had that little ripple, that little wrinkle in her gait. Qualified her. She wasn't good at her qualifier. You could tell she was fast, but wasn't comfortable. Turned her out, brought her back, turned her out again, brought her back. She's just not there. She's not mature enough. And, you know, whether it be the sale in Ohio last week or people looking for potential broodmares, your exit strategy, that window is only open for so long. And then you're hammered down. Then you are training her, no matter what. I went to school her the other day. James went with her and said, she's not comfortable at all. So we had to make a decision, and we decided that we would sell her. And that was a huge loss, as it was for Quartz Blue Chip. Who else did we sell at the sale? I know there was 2 or 3 of them. Quartz Blue Chip was a huge loss, but we recouped some of our money. And the same with Autumn Wings. We can't be right all the time. If you think there's this magical formula where you just buy a horse and poof, turns into a good horse, I can assure you that formula does not exist. So we're left buying horses, and hopefully they turn out. Some of them will, some of them won't. And Autumn Wings did not. Now she has been sold. At the sale the other day, the sale was pretty strong for us, aside from Talking Peter and Two of a Kind Hanover, who we knew, you know, 2-year-olds that are being sold from a giant stable in February. Not that appealing, I would think, to a lot of people. So we didn't get paid very well for Autumn Wings and Talking Peter. They both went for $5,700 for Talking Peter and $4,000 for Two of a Kind Hanover, respectively. And a little low, but then you look at Fan the Flames, we got $19,000 American for Fan the Flames, which I thought was excessively good. Majesty Boy, $14,000 American, again, decent. Candy Mac, $11,500. Who else was there? Canali Hanover. I don't think we got paid very well for him. $7,900 for whoever bought Canali Hanover. If somehow you see this video, that was a good purchase on your part. He had let us down, but our expectations of Canali Hanover was still back to when we were making Hamiltonian payments on this colt. Certainly not buying him as is with no expectations. I think $7,900 was really low for that horse. Really low. Curious Winner, $7,700. Good looking horse. And again, I'd said after the race the other day, I wish we had time. And, you know, I think he might have come around, but he might not have. So $7,700, I guess, was fair. That's around 10 grand Canadian. There was one other horse. Anyway, you guys know what the sale prices were. We'd sent out messages to everybody. I think overall the sale was good. Strong in some parts, weak in others. Then the sale of Autumn Wings was fair also. I'd sent a message out. We were looking to buy a broodmare at Indiana. Spend That Money's mother was selling in on OnGate. Sorry, on OnGate. And one of our clients had messaged us. One of our current clients was the owner of the mare, so I had to be careful. I didn't want to tip her hand, but at the same time, I did like the idea of buying Spend That Money's mother in foal to Swan for All, well-bred mare. And a lot of our clients responded. And if I didn't get back to you, it was only because I was waiting to see what would happen. I had written everybody's name down on a list, as I always do, people that are interested in the mare. And I really thought we'd buy her. One of our clients, Steve, had called me and said, hey, I'm bidding on that mare. I really want her, and I'm happy to take as many clients of yours with us in the ownership process. Those horses, Steve's mares, and that horse would have been stabled where Dewey Ann and Stolen Dance are. So it would have worked out great. I didn't have to worry about coming up with the money. I had a gentleman that wanted to buy the entire horse minus whatever our clients wanted in on, which was great of Steve. I really appreciate him doing that. We agreed that maybe 11 or 12 would kind of be a ceiling. I wouldn't feel comfortable going much higher than that. and she went for 22 or 23,000. So obviously, just too much money for her. Maybe not. You know, Crawford Farms bought her, and they had a big weekend. They bought Atlanta and Spend That Money's mother. So just a little much for us at the time, but keeping our options open. Now I know that there are people there that are interested in this side of what we're doing. This is new territory for me. I don't know enough the technical sides of breeding with crosses and X factors and everything. I don't know that, nor do I care to know that. But at the same time, the good news is we have a lot of people that do in our ranks. A lot of people are helping me with the broodmares. Now, I do have some news. We were leaning towards Sebastian K, and still kind of maybe are. But many of you know Lima's son, who unfortunately got hurt a couple of times, ready to go now as a 4-year-old, is by My MVP. Another horse by My MVP is West 52nd. Now, My MVP is switched to Ontario. So we could technically breed, and the biggest thing when it comes down to value, unless I'm reading it wrong, the stud fee for My MVP is 4,000 Canadian, almost buy one get one free if I'm not mistaken. I believe we can breed both of these mares for $4,000 Canadian to a sire that we already like, to that crosses with these mares also, apparently from the people I've talked to. Hi buddy, come on in. Just getting ready to go to breakfast. So anyway, these mares apparently cross well with our mare, or the stud crosses well with our mares. He's very affordable. It's right down the road, literally right down the road from where we have our mares turned out. So quite a turn of events. I am going to be sending an email out. I don't know. I think I'm kind of leaning towards My MVP now. It's going to cost us a total of $2,000 each for those mares to breed to a horse that has already thrown West 52nd and Lima's son. Two very, very good horses. A very well-achieved horse that both have won stake races in Ohio. I think, let's be honest, the almighty dollar has to play a role here. And I think that we can get these horses bred to a sire that I like, a sire that's accomplished, and that horse that beat Lawmaker last year also tailed off towards the end of the year. I know a million people are going to tell me his name. Doesn't matter. So that's where we're at now. We're at a crossroads. I guess now that I say it out loud, I'm kind of leaning towards My MVP. So there's that. So if anybody's out there and has any questions about My MVP being bred to Dewey Ann and Stolen Dance, or whether we're going to stick with Sebastian K, because in the bigger scheme, the long game, the difference in the stud fees isn't the end of the world. When we're talking about marketability also, are we going to get more money for our My MVP, a Sebastian K? Are we going to sell them? It can't be a mandate just to sell them. We have to take a look at what comes out of those mares. Is it straight, crooked, good-looking horse, big, small? These will be the mitigating factors of whether we buy or sell these yearlings, but I am not going to mandate them being sold because I don't want to. So that's that. Anyway, that's the brood mares. That's the sale. Staking fees, I said, are all paid for February. Now on to March. We're going to have a good look at March. I appreciate everybody that sent in your 2 cents, so to speak, your thoughts on the staking process. Some of them really shaped and molded what we're doing. And I know I didn't respond to Alan. If you're out there, Alan Howard, I didn't respond to your message about the overlapping stakes because we went over this. You and I didn't go over this, but I'd gone over this with a number of clients saying, and there's a very, very fair argument. If your horse is not good enough to be in the final of the Pennsylvania Sires, why are they paid into the Wellwood? Why are they paid into the Peaceful Way? Well, if you'll remember, Lawmaker didn't make it to the Pennsylvania Sires, and it was an accident that we overlapped the stakes. We weren't paying attention, I don't think. We just wanted to stake Lawmaker to everything because we thought he was great, fantastic, and didn't realize that there was some overlap there. And one of the overlaps was the Pennsylvania Sires final and the Wellwood. But he got injured, didn't make it into the Pennsylvania Sires, missed by a couple of points, and raced in the Wellwood. Or not the Wellwood, the Good Times, I'm sorry. The Good Times. So, the Peaceful Way and Wellwood are right on top of the Pennsylvania Sires. But we have a lot of Pennsylvania horse, colts and geldings and fillies. Now, I swung for the fence with a couple of them. Knockdown Dragout was not paid into the Peaceful Way, I don't believe. Nor was Miss Mischief Maker, nor was Johan. But a couple of the other horses we did pay in, thinking, hey, if things don't go perfect and they don't make it to the Pennsylvania Sires, maybe they are still more than good enough to race in the Peaceful Way or the Wellwood. So we did opt to pay them into those. Hey, babe.
Hello.
Pay them into those prospective stake races to make sure they were still eligible. Then we had a couple other stakes that people didn't know about, and we changed some stakes. But overall, don't you do that, phone. But overall, I think we did a great job. Not, guys, not, thank you. Not patting myself on the back, but I think I learned from some of the mistakes we made last year, and I think I did a very good job putting that together. And there was a lot of people that did help in that, and for that, I really appreciate everything and all your emails and phone calls and texts. Also, I had told Oliver and Ava, shh, please. Also, I had told people, hey, we're going to look to get a racehorse. We're going to look to get a racehorse in Ohio. I bid on one. I kind of... Oliver Frederick James, move your stuff. Let's see that. Thank you. You can get it back. Thank you very much for helping. So, Ava, hold that for him, honey. You get it? So, what I opted to do was, I tried to bid on a horse. He went too high. I didn't get him. So then I didn't have a horse. I didn't have a horse for the age horse people out there. So I contacted a friend of mine, Mark Weaver. Now you'll know Mark Weaver is Weaver, half of Weaver Bruchemi, and that's Ron Burke. They have about, Oliver, keep it down, honey, please. They have about 6 trillion horses in Pennsylvania. You may know them as the people that sold us Gelona, who wasn't great, but really kind of what you see is what you get. She raced good in Pennsylvania or in Ohio for us. We brought her back here, and there's such a thin line between really the 20 claimer and the 85. It comes down to work ethic. She was okay. She wasn't a killer. We raced her where she could win. She did pretty good for us, and we lost her out of the 85 claimer plus allowances. And Mark Weaver is also who came through for us in a pinch with Lincoln James. And I believe, there's no doubt, Lincoln James, we paid top dollar for him, but he's exactly what we bought, even for us. And dealing with people you trust is important. I'm always leery about bidding on horses in a sale like Ohio. Hey, I have a horse. I don't want to say the horse's name, but we were going to bid on a horse. He went a little too high, but a lot of questions circling around, and I made some phone calls and kind of got some answers, but are they 100% accurate and truthful? I don't know. But when you're dealing with somebody like Mark, he's got 300 horses. He knows what we're doing here. He had horses. He still does have a horse with us, but it's with Ron in Springbridge Proud. Trust is a big thing, and Mark has so many horses that he may have one that fits a perfect class for us that'll really do us some good, or maybe a couple of them. And reach out to Mark, and we're working on putting together the purchase of 1 or 2 or 3 horses. He's going to send me back some numbers today. He had sent me some numbers on some horses the other day. Didn't really know if they were what we were looking for, so I kind of waffled a bit and wavered a bit on buying those ones. Not to say they're out of the question, but I was hoping that there was maybe something else there, and Mark is definitely the guy to talk to. If you ever come across Mark, he doesn't go to the races very much. He's got a huge TV at his home and likes to watch all his horses race, but Mark's really... They've been to his house. Mark's the type of guy, I called him...
He has a puppy.
Yeah. I called Mark on my way to Pennsylvania one night. I remember Oliver and I, Ava stayed home, Oliver and I and Amy were driving after Mohawk's second race or something. We were going to drive right to Pennsylvania. So I called Mark at midnight, just to shoot the breeze and see what was up. And, come on over, stay at my place. I said, Mark, you got a family. I'm not going to your house and stay at your house. And no, come to the house. So we did. Like 1:30 in the morning, we got to Mark Weaver's place, stayed at his house, just as you can imagine, a mansion. And very sharp guy. Very, very sharp guy. Second time he came, not the first time. Very, very sharp guy when it comes to numbers and how he runs his stable. Wow. A lot of people could learn a lot from a guy like Mark Weaver in this industry, including me. Now, their method and their model, if you say, of the way they own horses is different. It's totally return on investment. Incredibly difficult to handle in this day and age in this industry. But they have a certain parameter of algorithms. They run how they buy their horses, when they sell their horses, what they do with them, where they race them, classes that are available. It's just a wizard when it comes to you know, and he said, you know, there's a model to make money in horse racing with a return on investment, but it's so difficult, so incredibly hard, and there cannot be any you know, passion. And you shouldn't say that when it comes to foaled, again, Sweet Lou and horses, that you remember those horses, especially if you're the guy that owns them. But when it comes to the horses, you really have to treat them as commodities, and it's a different model from what we offer. Obviously, we're offering something quite a bit different than that. But nevertheless, Mark does an incredible job with the stable and has helped us out a lot when it comes to, you know, when it came to Lincoln James. For those of you that are involved with the Lincoln James group, you know how fluid that situation was. That situation arose, it came about and was concluded in 24 hours. And if it wasn't for Mark Weaver, it was impossible we could do it. So again, thanks to him, and for the horses we're probably going to look at in the very near future when I propose them to our clients. Thank you for the help in that also. Now, we had a lot of horses race this week. Stonebridge Loyal. I sent it an email and I told everybody that's the perfect horse. Her claiming tag is too high. You can't possibly claim her, and we can continue to race her in the conditions or the condition claimer wherever we want to. And she has turned into a little bearcat. If you saw her race the other night, shuffled down the backstretch, 4 wide around the last turn, charging at the wire to win. That's the horse you want, right? And for every horse that we have to sell in a sale or privately, you know, for every 5, if we get 1 Stonebridge Loyal in a couple of years, we're going to have a good-looking stable. And Stonebridge Loyal, really, really impressed with her work ethic. Not shocking, though. She's always been a worker. This is the filly we protected last winter. Kind of had little corks on her. Didn't train her during the winter too hard. Stopped with her after her first start. Brought her back. Horses like Sunshine Inn raced great. A little flat a bit at the end of the mile last week, but you could tell this filly's got a huge engine in her. She's got a bright future in front of her. And horses like Sunshine Inn and Stonebridge Loyal, this is why we try and do things right. And you know, you're going to have horses like we sold, like Linnea, that sold in the sale. If they're not going to do us good and they don't want to put out and race, and there's no seemingly reason why they wouldn't, we can't possibly keep them around. And I know you work too hard and I work too hard. Even the kids work too hard. They have horses, exactly. Even the horses, to have horses around that don't work as hard and take their job as seriously as we do. And we'll continue to weed them out as we go along. But you have horses like Sunshine Inn, Stonebridge Loyal, raced great. Road Tripper closing again. He had too big, a splint was really bothering him after the race. Kevin said, hey, left splint hurting him quite a bit. Right splint pinching him a bit. I believe we had them both cry out, so he likely won't race when I'm gone, or at least race next week. But he's knocking on the door. He's ready. But Pay the Line Blue Chip, not a great horse. Continues to race well in that 7 condition claimer, or even the 7 claimer. She can do an either or, and has been racing great since we brought her back. Dancing on My Own, a little flat last night. Raced okay, finished 3rd. A couple of clients said, really, I thought she should have been better. I agree. I think she should have been better, but at the same time, we got to take each race as it is, a race. And some horses are going to come out of the gate swinging, and some horses are going to take some time. And if this is what we have, then we'll find a place for you know, for Dancing on My Own. You know, the sad thing is that there's no way to predict what's going to happen. When they get to 59 2 minutes, it could turn into 54 in a couple of weeks. It could turn into 59 2 minutes in a couple of weeks, or a few weeks, or a month, whatever. And that's where we're at with Dancing on My Own. Are we going to be able to run her back over to Mohawk? Is she going to be able to compete there and be competitive? I don't know. That's a conversation I'll have with Kevin. I know he's probably not leaning towards that, but she's a big filly. I'm sure there's going to be a saturation point for her speed and money on a half-mile track. So we're going to take it week by week. No predictions. She finished 3rd last night. She won the week before. Let's let her continue to move. Mike, better call Mike. Mike's okay. And I know I had one of our clients say, you know, he's a pretty good horse. Not yet, he's not. He's just a horse. Does his work, went out, raced terrible in London 2 weeks ago, or last week. He had a pretty tough schedule. I think he raced 3 times in 10 days. And I really didn't think last night was going to be a productive race. But he raced well. He might have finished 5th. Closing at the wire. I didn't check the line. I assume he paced 2 minutes, 2-1. which is a huge jump for him. 2.6 the week before in London on a bad track. Now, there's a perfect example of how bad the track is in London, and it's not. I don't mean to denigrate London, but at the same time, ice and snow, 2.6 in a piece. Better Call Mike handled. They got all. Hold on, honey. They got all the ice and snow off the track in Flamborough. Cut it up good. It wasn't great. It was pretty good. 2 minutes 59. Big mile for Mike last night. Too Far Gone raced. That's Ava's favorite horse. She raced okay. Definitely an improvement from London and Mohawk. Struggled a bit in the turns, got that kind of wonky gait to her, but she wants to go forward. She's just a nice mare to drive. I really hope she turns out, because I like having horses around that try. You can feel in the race if they're trying and they're not trying. Too Far Gone tries. You know, she might not be a good horse. She might end up being sold at some point, but I know, honey. But at the same time, I really like her and I like driving her. So I hope she comes forward, because she's just a nice horse. American League, and I've talked and talked again. We kept this horse way too long, but we have him now and he's racing. He was a little troll at 2. At 3, he was okay. We gave him time off in the summer because he was starting to get skinny. Brought him back at 4. Just couldn't quite get into the Mohawk circuit, but raced awesome last night. Closing hard at the wire. I think they went 2-1. Maybe 2 minutes in a piece, but raced great. And American League has turned into a horse that wants to race, and he'll do some good for us here and there. And I believe he's not long for the winner's circle, that guy. We talked with Too Far Gone, Dancing on My Own. Mystical Mission race last night. Little flat. But this screwed up schedule, missing time, and races canceled and scratched due to weather. It really plays havoc with the horses. These are these are very structured animals. And when you start breaking up their schedules like this, it can really throw a monkey wrench into things, and it certainly did with Mystical Mission. Now, we had horses training yesterday. I'm going to run through a list quick of horses that I thought impressed us yesterday. Now, Knockdown Dragout, those horses always impress us. Miss Mischief Maker bruised her foot. Got a little pus pocket and a little bruise in her foot, so she missed yesterday. But some horses that really impressed me, and I'm going to tell you the 2 horses that impressed me the most yesterday. Both of them are going to shock the hell out of you, but I'm going to run through them quick. Anteros was awesome yesterday. James went with him, said he's a little bully. He doesn't like the head pull, and he was being a bit ornery with it on. He's just going to have to learn to wear it, but he was awesome in the training mile. Beach Boutique was very, very good. We talk about Dancing on My Own. The only issue that Dancing on My Own ever had was that she didn't really put forth a full effort all the time. This filly's a polar opposite. She's a goer. She's a worker. Beach Boutique was great. Probably one of the better miles of the day was at a Beach Bum BB. And we let Mark Isabel go with her, and I knew he wasn't going to protect her. He moved her about 3 times and drove away from the fillies in the 1.5 miles. And the track was still a little bit snowy, so we didn't get any speed out of them, but a good 1.5 miles, 240 speed. And Beach Bum BB looked tremendous. Bottle of Red continues to look good. Brush Gut continues to look good. Horse that surprised me a bit. Don't believe me, just watch. Little Peanut come out of nowhere yesterday and looked awesome training. We made a few little changes with Emerald Miss's shoeing. She looked awesome yesterday. James, one of them, said, this thing's a speed demon. But I said, she's the same as her sister. Go back and look at the videos of Bourbon and Barley from 2-3 years ago. Tremendous filly. Same gait. Makes the same kind of mistakes sometimes. Hold on, I'm almost done. Same kind of mistakes sometimes. Emerald Miss looked awesome yesterday. Excellent Nation. Keep your eye on this colt. He had a huge brush yesterday. We talked about castrating him. James did not want to yesterday. He said maybe wait. So maybe there was just a little getting to know the driver type situation. So we'll follow that. He's still on the list with Pencil. We haven't put it in with Pen, but he is on there with Pencil. And Excellent Nation looked awesome yesterday. So he's spared himself. Fox Valley Shazam beat everyone yesterday. Few little shoeing adjustments, and Fox Valley Shazam looked like she beat Knockdown Dragout. She beat really Blue Chip at the wire. Johan was flying at the wire, but nobody could catch Fox Valley Shazam. She looked tremendous yesterday. Johan was flying at the wire, looked great yesterday also. Very happy with him. Made a few little adjustments with him. He doesn't like that deep going, and we're just going to have to be careful with him in the turns. And James will go with him next week as I'm going to be gone away. Sylvain Filion has committed to coming and filling in also next week. I hate asking him to come and come out in the, in the cold to go with these horses, but he said he would. I'm gone away. He's going to come and go with them next week also. McNugget trained great. Miss Brampton Beast again trained awesome. Path of Totality, really blue chip. Path of Totality looked awesome yesterday. Won her training set with some good horses in there. Looked tremendous. Really blue chip. Wiggle Delight. Two biggest trainers of the day. Zeb Sunshine thumped them yesterday and made them like it. And Overdue Mission overpowered some really, really nice horses. I told you she would put it all together. She did yesterday and looked great. So that's our opening. It's right around 30 minutes. Everything you need to talk about, everything you need to hear. I'm going to be back in a minute with the stables, all the stables we got, and then we're going to talk about all the babies in depth. Wow, Overdue Mission and Zeb Sunshine. Awesome yesterday. Be right back in a minute.